The Masters tournament is just around the corner, and we must say, this one is going to be tension-filled. It's no longer news that there's bad blood between the PGA Tour and the new Breakaway league, LIV Golf. But what happens when golfers from both sides are competing in the same event? Welcome, golf lovers! In today's video, we are going to discuss the first major event of the year, the Masters. The Masters was started by amateur champion Bobby Jones. After his Grand Slam in 1930, Jones acquired the former plant nursery and co-designed Augusta National with famous course architect Alister MacKenzie. Being hosted for the first time 89 years ago in 1934, the Masters has become the biggest tournament not only in the United States, but around the world. The field of players is smaller than those of other major championships because it is an invitational event held at Augusta National Golf Club. The tournament has a number of traditions, the biggest one starting in 1949 being a green jacket awarded to the champion. The Champions Dinner, inaugurated by Ben Hogan in 1952, is held on the Tuesday before each tournament and is open only to past champions and certain board members of the Augusta National Golf Club. Beginning in 1963, legendary golfers, usually past champions, have hit an honorary tee shot on the morning of the first round to commence play. These have included Gene Sarazen, Sam Snead, Byron Nelson, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Tom Watson. Since 1960, a semi-social contest at the par 3 course has been played on Wednesday, the day before the first round. However, the winner of the par 3 contest has never gone on to win the actual tournament. Jack Nicklaus has the most Masters wins, with 6 between 1963 and 1986. Tiger Woods won 5 between 1997 and 2019. Arnold Palmer won 4 between 1958 and 1964. 5 have won 3 times at Augusta: Jimmy Demaret, Sam Snead, Gary Player, Nick Faldo, and Phil Mickelson. Player, from South Africa, was the first non-American player to win the tournament in 1961. The second was 𝗖𝗱𝗱𝗆 Ballesteros of Spain, the champion in 1980 and 1983. I'm thinking about the Masters. The natural instinct is to also think about who is playing in the Masters. That question became far less muddied in December after Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley issued a statement regarding the qualifying process for the 2023 tournament, which settled the matter over whether players connected to the LIV Golf League, who are banned from playing on the PGA Tour, would be prohibited from playing in the year's first men's major as well. As invitations are sent this week, we will invite those eligible under our current criteria to compete in the 2023 Masters Tournament, Ridley said, which incidentally includes past champions and other qualifiers from the Breakaway LIV Golf Tour. A total of 18 LIV players will be in the field this week due to a number of criteria getting them in. However, they include the likes of major stars and past champions in Phil Mickelson, Sergio Garcia, Patrick Reed, and Dustin Johnson. The greatest players on the planet will soon gather at Augusta National Golf Club to compete for the green jacket and a place in history. However, there's no getting around it. A conflict has erupted in the men's professional game, and this year's Masters field will feature foot soldiers from both sides of the fight. Not that bad blood is apt to spill into the open, not at Augusta. No grounds in golf require more decorum. Everyone is on their best behavior. The tumult of the world doesn't tend to make it down Magnolia Lane. Given the surrounds, it is unlikely that Patrick Reed will toss a tee in frustration at Rory McIlroy, as he did recently in Dubai. In such a polite setting, Billy Horschel won't be redeploying terms like liar and hypocrite, as he has in heated moments. Nor will Tiger, as he rounds Amen Corner, be subpoenaed as a witness in any of the lawsuits flying back and forth. That's one of the beautiful things about Augusta, says 2016 Masters champ Danny Willett. It's a special tournament and a special atmosphere. You're focused on one thing, and one thing only. When we all get here, hopefully, all the nonsense goes away. Still, this year's Masters is threaded through with subplots that are clear to anyone who has been following the script. Flip back through the pages to around this time last year, when the coming clash in the game was still a distant rumble. LIV Golf, the Saudi-funded challenge to the PGA Tour, was just starting to take shape. In April, not long after the 2022 Masters, LIV announced that it had enlisted players for its first event, but it wasn't ready to name names. That was then. The Breakaway League is now underway in its second season, and the battle lines have hardened. Suspensions have been levied, tensions have flared. Along with a tangle of litigation, a federal antitrust investigation has been launched. It's an all-out struggle, with access to events as one of its main fronts. Of all the territory in dispute, none is more prized than the majors. From the moment LIV was born, a critical question was whether its players would be blocked from the 4 majors, with the Masters, in many eyes, being the biggest of them all. So far, nothing has stood in their way. At the 2022 US Open, the USGA upheld invitations to LIV golfers. A month later, the R&A followed suit at the Open Championship. Both governing bodies have since indicated that they're poised to do the same in 2023. Only the PGA of America, which runs the PGA Championship, has yet to make its position on LIV players clear. The best of the best are going head-to-head. That's what Augusta wants. It's what most fans and players desire too. Even those who have complained that LIV golfers are trying to have their cake and eat it too by defecting to another league, then returning to cherry-pick premier events. The majors are called majors for a reason, to LIV's staunchest critics. Though, the issue runs deeper. Allowing the league's players back into the game's brightest stages, they say, gives the Saudi League a platform it doesn't deserve. One that stands out is Tuesday evening of Masters Week, when past winners of the tournament swing open their lockers, slip on their green jackets, stride into the founder's room on the second floor of the clubhouse, and assume their usual spots for the most exclusive meal in golf. Though there is no assigned seating at the Masters Champions dinner, there are customary place settings. Ben Crenshaw camps out at the head table, next to the club chairman and the defending champ. Tiger takes up post alongside Mark O'Meara. Ray Floyd rubs elbows with Fred Couples, while Nick Faldo and Vijay Singh flank Gary Player, whose fellow South Africans Trevor Immelman and Charles Schwartzel cluster with the Aussie Adam Scott. So go the unofficial arrangements, shaped by age, geography, and disposition. This year, Bubba Watson says he expects the same. Kind words, good vibes, a festive gathering in honor of the game and last year's Masters winner. Never mind that Watson has joined LIV. Scotty is a great friend, he says, so it will be fun to be there and support him. It's a sweet sentiment that leaves a lot unsaid. For a more complete assessment, it helps to have the input of the other guests. Take Woods, for instance. When asked recently to forecast the atmosphere around the table, the 5-time Masters champion said he couldn't say for sure, but he figured things were destined to get awkward. However, all the prep and media takes place earlier in the week, and the first tee shots are hit. It only comes down to one thing: trying to win the first major of the year. Garcia, who won the 2017 Masters and jumped to LIV last year, agrees. There's too many players to take care of to start worrying about PGA Tour against LIV players. He says, I'm not saying that the media won't do it, or some fans, but when it comes down to it, Augusta is challenging enough without thinking about little things like that. Garcia's fellow LIV player, Brooks Koepka, has a more pointed take. He dismisses the idea of bad blood between players as nothing more than a media narrative that has taken on a life of its own. It's been blown up into a different situation than it really is, Koepka says. It's just a business decision. We're all the same people. We all get along. If outsiders buy into the idea of a feud, that's because it's what the press is selling. The fans read whatever's written. That's their news source, Koepka says. He's got a point. Reporters need something to report, but it only goes so far. The media did not invent the suits and the countersuits, or script chairman Ridley's observation that golf has reached a seminal point in its history, or stage the recent dust-up in the desert between Reed and McIlroy. The two players have had their moments, including a Sunday showdown at the 2018 Masters, in which Reed came out on top, depriving Rory of the last leg he needs for a career Grand Slam. Both men are headed back to Augusta. If they wind up in the final pairing again, it wouldn't be a media fabrication to call it a fraught matchup. It would be must-see TV, nor would it hurt McIlroy. A tour loyalist, has been one of LIV's most vocal detractors, laying into the league even while insisting that he harbors no resentment toward individuals over their career choices. That's a common refrain in the game these days, repeated by players on both sides of the split. It's professional, not personal, but it isn't always easy to separate the two. The players themselves downplay the difference. But, as many tour players have pointed out, it is what it is. A tradition unlike any other will unfold against a backdrop never seen before. The Masters should provide a welcome break from the hostilities, but not an end to the underlying tension. We have come to the end of today's video. What do you think will happen during the Masters tournament? Is it possible we see a LIV Golf player win the tournament? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Do well to hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon in order to get notifications whenever we drop our next mind-blowing video. See you in the next video. Stay golfing!